Hey, hi guys, good afternoon. Hope you are able to hear me. Can I have a quick confirmation on a chat window?
Yes, Naveen, we
Oh,
can hear you.
great. Hope you're able to see my screen also, Shweta.
Yeah, yeah.
Which screen are you able to see? Is it the PPT slide?
No, it's basically a black screen.
Was it? Okay. Good. I think people are also confirming. So we'll just start the session in next 4 minutes. We'll just give a 2-3 minutes for the other participants to join because we have got a good registration and we're expecting a few more people to join. So just a reminder mail also has gone. So we may have some more people joining in. So slowly the numbers are increasing. It was around 40, now we have almost close to 60. 1 or 2 minutes, I think we'll start the session.
Sure.
I'll just try to reshare my screen. Is the slide visible now?
No.
Naveen, we can see the end of the slide. I
Was
think
it?
this is the last slide.
Okay, is it? Oh, okay. Maybe it's on a. Okay, fine. I think I've selected a different window. Let me reshare it once again.
No, it's the same slide again.
Oh, is it? Okay. Then,
Yes, now we can see.
now it is visible, right? Okay.
Yes,
Yep,
yes.
yeah, yeah, it is now.
Okay. Okay. I think we have about 66 people. Just 1 more minute. I think we'll start the session.
Sure.
Okay, the numbers are increasing. Very warm welcome to everyone. First of all, thank you for joining our session out of your busy schedule. You're making time and joining the session. So just before we could start the session, I'll just give a quick introduction about our company so that you have an idea. So basically, we are a corporate training company, and we deliver IT and soft skills training to our customers. And mostly it is a classroom training what we are doing, classroom and online training. And these are and a few other offerings that we provide for the people who are looking out for any kind of trainings. You can always reach out. And this is just to give an idea like the kind of clients that we work with. So we work with large company, mid-size, and even the startup companies also. So these are like either IT services company or a product-based company, or some are like a direct captive centers that we work with. Could be pharmaceutical banks, uh, and manufacturing, IT services companies. True, too. Okay. In case if you have any training requirements, you can always reach us out. Uh, and today, since we have a sessions, we have one of our trainer, Shweta, who's quite, seasoned L&D professional as well as a trainer too. So I'll ask her to introduce herself, and from here, I think she can take it over. Over to you, Shweta.
Great. Thank you so much, Naveen, and a very warm welcome and good morning, everyone. You'll have to excuse me a little for my voice. I was slightly under the weather, so I have a very husky voice suddenly. But I hope I'm audible to everyone, and I'm super excited to be here with you all today. First of all, thank you everybody for joining today's webinar on creating a culture of continuous learning. And this entire webinar has been designed from the HR's perspective. Okay. And I am Shweta Goswami, and I'm thrilled to engage you on this critical aspect of organizational development. A little brief about myself: I have 19 years of experience in the training domain. So I've started my career as a trainer, and that's what I've been doing because I'm really very passionate about training. Okay. um, all these years I have been lucky to get opportunities to train different domains in different organizations like Coca-Cola, Maruti, Pidilite, Thermax, Kirloskar, and so on. And the workshop today basically is designed for the HR professionals, because we play a very pivotal role in shaping our workplace environments. Okay. One of the most transformative shifts in modern organization today is about how do we foster a culture of continuous learning. So in this, quick session, we would try and explore about what is a learning culture, what does it truly mean, okay, what is the role of an HR in promoting and sustaining learning, the challenges the organizations face, and probably we can also discuss about one or two practical solutions on the same, and then the actionable steps to build a strong learning ecosystem. Okay, so this is what basically is the agenda for today's webinar that we all have here. Okay, so I think we can all begin. Hmm? But before that, I would also like to talk about that. What is the role of the human resource department? You know, I very strongly feel, because see, 19 years of my career where I've been into training, I've interacted with a lot of HRs and L&D professionals, and I believe that they play a very crucial role in motivating employees and fostering their growth within an organization. Okay, there are different roles and different hats that they have to wear and play, and one of the key areas that they really contribute is about, like, they are the ones who are very very instrumental when we talk about employee motivation. Now, when I say employee motivation, what are the different ways that an HR can motivate an employee? So definitely it's about rewards and recognition, that you have for their performance incentives, recognizing wherever they are doing great jobs. And this is again very, very important because the employees then feel engaged and motivated to what they're doing, right? Another very, very important role that an HR plays is, providing your employees with career development opportunities, and that is where providing training, mentorship, comes into picture, because every employee should feel valued and invested in. Another important role that an HR has is, how do you drive the ecosystem, the workplace culture and engagement. I believe HR, fosters a positive work environment through open communication, having a great feedback mechanism, and employee wellness programs as well. Apart from that, they are also very crucial in ensuring that there's a work-life balance and support, that you can provide to your employees, implementing policies like flexible work schedules, mental health initiatives, and also ensuring that how, the remote work options to maintain the motivation of your employees. So in short, HR are actually like loaded with lots of responsibilities, and I completely understand the space where you all probably feel at times, that it becomes a little overwhelming for the HRs. But then again, I've also seen HR people as someone who are very, very um, uh, what do I say? They are the ones who are very excited, about the role that they play in the organization. I've found, and I've seen a lot of HRs who are very invested in what they do, and that is where, they are the ones who actually look into, how can I help my employee grow? Because if I want the organization to grow, hello. Hey, I'm sorry. Naveen was checking on me that do I have some slides, but I thought that it's a webinar, so Uh, why to have slides and run through all of those things? I thought I'll just keep it like very, very simple, plain, out of my experience that I've had with HR professionals. And I feel that, somewhere I relate with you guys. I understand the pain that you have. I understand that an HR is supposed to be someone with a magic stick and a wound, who should be there everywhere and, like, get everything sorted. So I did have an idea that probably I'll have some slides to run through, but then again, I dropped it. I thought, no, let's keep it very, very natural, organic, and realistic. I hope that's okay with everybody. Can I just get a thumbs up if that's okay? Ah, Tanu says she's not able to see me, but my camera is on. Is that the case with everybody?
Yeah, Shweta, we are not able to see you as well.
You're not able to see me, but my camera is on. Uh, uh, uh. Naveen, can you see me?
Even I can't see you, Shweta.
No, no, no. There are no slides.
No, not
Can
the
you all
slide.
see me?
No, the video. Yeah, the video, we can't see you. I mean, there's no video
You're
of
not able to
yours.
see me.
Maybe
Oh
we
my God, my
can.
camera is on. And I was thinking that, you all can see me all these while. Unable to see me, unable to see me is what everybody is telling me. Oh my God. Okay, give me a moment. Hey, Naveen, Vinod, can you just confirm? Can you guys see me?
Still no, Shweta.
No? Okay.
No. Either you can turn off your camera and try to
I
turn it
turned
on.
off my camera now
Okay.
and I'm turning it on again.
Okay. Second option, maybe you can try to, rejoin again.
Okay, so just allow me a minute. Let
Sure,
me
sure.
rejoin again. Yeah.
All right, all right.
Hi, can you all see me now?
Yes, Shweta, we can see you now.
Oh, great.
Finally.
Thank you so much. All this while I was like, okay, I'm talking to people and probably they can see me. I'm sorry for all that technical glitch, but I hope you related with whatever I said so far, right? Great. Thanks for giving me the thumbs up for the same. So yes, I was talking about the role and the importance that an HR has in organizations, and I'm saying that a lot of time people just assume that HR are the ones with the magic wand, but probably at times yes, we do have to play the role of a magician. Apart from the other things that I was speaking about, I think HR are also someone who have to take into consideration that how do you help your employees grow, and that is where training and development plays a very, very important and vital role. Okay. um, I think the HRs have to ensure that there's a continuous learning through skill development programs, leadership training, and certification courses, which has to be given on a regular basis to your employees. These days, when I interact with the Gen Z crowd of late, they feel that it is the role and the responsibility of the organization to give them a learning platform, okay, which earlier was not the scene. So that also makes it all the more important for HRs to ensure that you do have to understand what could be the different skill development programs that you could run through basis on your training need analysis. Okay, you also have to identify high potential employees and see that how do you prepare them for leadership roles. Okay, apart from the regular conducting appraisals, providing constructive feedbacks, and setting growth oriented goals. I think another thing is also about how do you foster innovation? Okay. Um, how do you foster a learning culture where employees are encouraged to innovate, take risk, and develop new skills? So In totality, in essence, HR is not just about managing people. It is about empowering them to reach their full potential while aligning themselves, with the growth um, of the business that they're doing and they're into. Okay. So, and that is where I think each one of us finds ourselves with. Okay. Now, the webinar is about creating and developing a learning culture. So, the big question is, what exactly is the learning culture? How do I define it? Okay. In simple words, learning culture is an environment where continuous development is not just encouraged, but is deeply embedded in the organizational DNA. It's a place where employees actively seek out new knowledge and skills, feel empowered and experiment and learn from failures, making them understand that it's completely okay to fail. Yeah, I simply feel that failing is first attempt in learning. A learning culture is also where we collaborate to share insights and best practices, and having access to learning resources um, that is seamlessly integrated into their work and the culture that they all are working in. If I talk about what could be the most important elements of a strong learning culture, I think the first and the foremost is leadership commitment. Okay. I think everything trickles down, and the leaders of the organization should be committed in driving this learning culture. Okay. They have to learn how to prioritize learning. And when they do so, employees would automatically follow. If the leaders themselves do not really understand the importance of driving a learning culture, the employers would never really understand the importance and the need for it. Okay. I think another very, very important thing when we talk about driving a learning culture is employees should feel comfortable asking questions and seeking knowledge. We have to encourage the curiosity level within them. And of course, yes, recognition and rewards always help. So I know a lot of organization where I go for training, and they have certain rewards and recognition when an employee completes a certain level of training, has done a number of hours, of training, has completed a certain certification. So that is also, something that we can try embedding into our organizational system in order to create a learning environment. And of course, yes, training or any kind of learning opportunity has to be accessible for every employee. Okay. Whether it's training, whether it's mentorship, whether it is about any of the digital learning platforms, I think these things have to be easily available for the participants. Okay. And we have to create forums for collaboration and internal expertise sharing. It's not necessary always that you need an external trainer or a faculty coming down. Okay. A lot of time people, when you have your leadership team, the head of the departments undergo some training, they can pass it on to the employees as well. Okay. And one example that I would like to share with you all here is the example of TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. They've built a robust learning culture. Okay. And they have an initiative called as Anywhere Anytime Learning, so they call it AAL, Anywhere Anytime Learning, where they offer employees an access to digital learning platforms, certifications, and skill development programs. Okay. So we all can be a little creative, innovative, and think what works best for our organization, and how can we really embed this. Hmm? When we talk about you know so we've spoken about the importance of HR's role, uh, but when we talk about specifically how can the HR, all the L&D people, promote these learning culture, I think they are the backbone of the company's learning strategy. They are the one who can drive this transformation. Okay. And they need to understand that why it is important. Okay, so I think one very, very important role for the HR people is how do you align learning with business goals? Okay, so and for that, I think you very strongly, very regularly need to work with the leadership team to ensure that learning initiatives support business objectives. Like, for example, if if an organization is adopting AI driven technology, then that is where the L&D team or the HR team should prioritize AI related training programs. If an organization is looking forward to a global expansion, and that is their goal for the next year or for the next 2 3 years, in the coming 2 3 years, I'm sorry, so that is where language and cross cultural training should be emphasized on. So, and I've seen, to be very honest, I've seen a very, very positive change post pandemic. So to be very honest, before pandemic, when I started off my career and the initial 10 years, I think training a lot of time used to just be a tick in the box. That okay, fine, we have a budget, it would probably get exhausted, and now we should plan something. And that is where randomly, people were approached, and okay, fine, let's do something on communication, let's do something on team building, let's do something on let's say manager development. But I think post COVID, I've seen a very, very positive change. And the space where I'm speaking about is again out of my own experience, where I've seen the L&D team and the HR work very closely with the leadership to understand what exactly is your problem statement. What is the, you know, pain areas? What is it that is stopping you to grow, not letting you achieve your goals, not allowing you to bring in certain transformation? Identify those problem statement and pain areas. Okay, once you identify, okay, I probably feel that there are a lot of conflicts within the team. Okay, I have probably identified that um, uh, my cross functional team, they do not collaborate really very well. So once you identify the problem statement and the pain areas is where you then step up to create personalized learning paths. Okay, now, why do I say this? Every employee learns differently. Okay, and we cannot just have one way of making an employee learn things, and that is where the customized learning plans comes up. Like for example, keeping in mind the job roles, like who are the people you want to be trained? Are they the ones who come from the technical background? Are they the managerial level people? Are they the leadership crowd? And what exactly is their career aspirations and growth plan? Okay, and then what could be the most suited preferred learning methods for them? Okay, I have people scattered in different places, and bringing them all together is something which is not feasible. So probably I can go for a virtual training thing. Okay, am I looking in for an in-person workshop? Okay, what do I want? Have I understood my audience? Do they need some kind of a gamification, you know, to learn, to just break the monotony? Okay, do I have the right videos and platforms, to seed in the importance of these things? So that is where, we understand the employee, we understand the problem statement, and then we customize that. Okay, no, I am looking in for a virtual training, I'm looking in for an in-person training, I'm looking for a completely outbound kind of a training, is where we can take a call on. Okay. We have to constantly uh, encourage a growth mindset, in our people. I think of, I would I don't know how many of you probably would also be doing it, but I very strongly feel that HRs in themselves, should pick up a time and a date where they interact with the employees. Okay, because you are the one who are responsible for a lot of things when we talk about the career growth. So I think regular dialogues is very important. I call them performance dialogues. Okay, which is very, very important. Hmm? That let's not speak to an employee only when we do their appraisals. Okay, can I actually engage in a continuous dialogue process with my employees to understand the space that they're coming from, to understand where exactly are they facing problems, to probably give them a feedback about where you want them to grow and change and inculcate certain behavioral traits, certain skills which are very important for the domain and job role that they're working in. Okay. I think we as HRs can encourage a growth mindset by facilitating coaching and mentoring programs, and which can be done by the HR themselves. Okay. Because I believe that if you are able to seed in, the fact about letting your employees know that we cannot just be stagnant at one place, we cannot just have a fixed mindset. We have to learn how to move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Okay, a fixed mindset person would always say that, okay, this is all that I know and this is all that I can do. A growth mindset person would say, this is all that I know till today, let me see what more can I learn. Do I have that hunger within me to learn more? Okay, what is the environment, the culture of the organization? Do my employees feel that if I learn more skills, I'll be loaded with more work? And that is also a reason why I don't want to learn more. Or the employee feels that, no, I'm hungry for growth, I'm hungry for knowledge, and I want to learn more because that is going to make me accept challenges better in my life. Okay. So I have to first sense, as an HR, I have to sense what is the feel, the culture, environment of my organization. Because if the employees take learning as a threat, learning as a load that I would then definitely be given more responsibilities, and I probably will not be able to justify it, then I think the entire steps that we would take might not be that very productive. So I think, when you interact with your team members, with your employees on a regular basis, that would promote real-time problem solving, and that would also facilitate the coaching and mentoring programs that you design for them. Okay. And that also helps you in tracking the progress of your employees. That how are you going to track the progress of them? Where are they? What exactly is the need? You know, that way, so what happens is you interact with the leadership people. So you know their problem areas, and uh, where do they want improvement in. You interact with your employees and you understand the space that they come from. You understand what is their core problem. I think when you have a deeper understanding of both is when you can actually come up with the right solution for them. you know that, okay, I think, basis on my conversation with the leadership as well as the employee, I think this should be a course of action. Hmm? Another thing that we as an HR people can do is we can motivate our employees that how do you use technology for learning. A lot of organizations these days are integrating LMS, learning management systems. They're also integrating a lot of AI driven courses, which are available on the online platforms to ensure seamless learning experiences. Okay. For instance, Infosys has this Lex platform, which provides employees with self-paced, on-demand learning. So similarly, I think in every organization we can actually um, see, keeping in mind again what kind of a crowd audience do you have, and how can you promote these technology for learnings. Okay, even here, if you're very very serious about it, you can measure and reward the learning. Like for example, track employee learning matrix and progression. Okay, uh, recognition of the top learners through certifications, incentives, promotion, or even just a sweet mail does wonders for people. So that's another way on how we can actually ensure that the learning culture is a constant thing. It's not something where you always have to spend money. Okay, it is something which has to be seeded, embedded into the system of the organization, and for that it has to, um, you know, it has to be. I think you need to talk about it a lot. Okay, I think the first and the foremost thing is start talking about it. You know, when you start talking about it, it creates awareness amongst people. Okay, now why is training very very important in building a learning culture? So I very strongly believe, because I come from that domain, I think training is the cornerstone of a continuous learning culture. If we do not really have a very structured and effective training programs, learnings then remains informal and inconsistent. Okay, so like I was saying that in earlier days, training used to be a tick mark program, one day standalone program. The change and transformation that I've seen is that today organization are looking in for a longer training duration. They have calendar programs. Okay, they have training interventions. Okay, which is designed because I believe you know now the L&D and the HR team has understood that one standalone program is not going to create any miracle. It has to be, uh, you know, there needs to be consistency in order to make it more sustainable. So I myself, I do a lot of managerial development programs for organizations like L&D, and a lot of companies. I do a lot of calendar programs for Thermax, Pan India. So that is so that everybody is on the same page. So that everybody, it's not that only, so I am from Pune, I'm based out of Pune. So it's not that only, the employees of Pune division are aware about the trainings. Okay, I might have someone who is somewhere in Surat, somewhere in Chennai, somewhere in Sauli. How do I ensure that my employees, across the globe are on the same level? And how do I provide them equal opportunities of learning? Okay, so a lot of time, where you have this, the corporate office, the headquarters is where training really happens on a very regular basis. But we miss out if we have our plants, offices, organization, in different parts of India. So I think that's also very important that we have to be inclusive, and we have to ensure that how do we provide equal opportunities for every learner. Okay, and that is why we have to be very very consistent, thoughtful of how are we designing a training program, how am I going to ensure that it reaches out to all the employees across the level that I want them to be trained on, and how can I make it more impactful. Okay, what are the major takeaways that I want a training program to deliver. Okay, we can also have longer interventions of training, which is like making people more focused towards what they're learning. So I think it should be embedded into the organizational system. Okay, and we can integrate training into business processes. Mhm. We can kind of think of establishing some mandatory learning hours for our employees, that it is important for every employee to undergo a certain number of hours of training in a quarter, in 6 months. You can sit and design and decide on it. I think we should also encourage the on-the-job learning through real-world application of new skills, which is very, very important. Okay, and we need to create a blended learning approach for the employees, because when you have a mix of learning methods, you can ensure maximum engagement. We can have, as I said, we can at times have instructor led training, which is very, very crucial and instrumental, and it helps in seeding and for deep skill building, actually, right? We can also have e-learning modules for certain programs for flexibility, that let's not make this compulsory, because everybody has a different pattern, everybody has different schedules, different time zones. So probably an e-learning module fits best when we have to give flexibility to it. Okay, we can also promote and encourage peer learning programs for knowledge sharing. Yeah, and then of course, yes, um, you can have your own seniors, leaders come and deliver training on some of their own experiences, sharing it with the employees. I think that is always very, very interesting. I also know the pain areas of HR people. Okay, that a lot of time you do design, you create and everything, but then nomination becomes a problem, right? Getting everybody on the same platform becomes a problem. So I think that is where we can link training to career progression. Okay. That if you are like, when we talk about everybody is wanting promotion, everybody is wanting to grow. So we can say that when you cover, apart from your skills and the work that you do, it is also mandatory for you to complete these many number of hours of training. Okay, which is a must, which is a mandate if you really want promotion. Okay, and encourage employees to take up external courses. Okay, so I think Wipro has one talent transformation initiative that they do. So they ensure that employees upskill in emerging technologies such as AI, cloud computing, and data science through structured training and certification. And with this, that has helped them to be very competitive in the IT sector, right? So we have to learn, and we have to see that how do I drive and link training to career progressions. Hmm? But yes, I was talking about the challenges, that HR people face, and I'm sure that each one of you definitely have a lot of plans on paper. And the challenge is actually, how do I execute it? The execution is always a challenge. Okay, I think one of the biggest challenge, correct me if I'm wrong, is when the employees themselves have a certain resistance to learning. The challenge is that employees often feel very overwhelmed with a daily task, and like, the pressure, the stress that they have. I have always seen employees complaining and cribbing about not having time, and that is why they're very reluctant and resistant to learning programs, and, like, to attend the programs which are there. Okay, so just a second. I see that. Can you please talk more on what the innovative ways of fostering a learning culture in a company are or can be? Okay, so I'm just clubbing. I see a few things here. questions. I'll cater to all these questions. So we've reserved the last 10-15 minutes for the question. Let me just quickly finish, what I have in mind, and then probably, I'll also be um, answering these questions that you all have here. So the first challenge I said is, people have this resistance to learning. Okay. So I think the solution to this would be if we can embed learning into the workflow. Okay. As I said, we can introduce some small capsule programs rather than having the entire day workshops, or like 2-day workshop or something. I think we can then, if you feel that the crowd that you're catering to is very very busy, and for them taking out time for an entire day, 2 days is not possible, we can have like small capsule programs of 90 minutes, or let's say 120 minutes. Okay. We can also, in order to promote and encourage training, we can do experiential learning, which is using gamification, and that becomes really very interesting. Okay. And you can also have certain incentive for the participation for the employees. Hmm. Another challenge that I've seen that the HR and L&D team faces is, um, the leadership don't really buy in the trainings that you want to have. Okay. The top management does not really advocate for learning employees, and if they don't really advocate the learning, employees would never see value and importance of it. Okay. And that is where, as I said earlier, we have to be in constant communication, dialogues, and educate the leaders on how continuous learning impacts innovation, retention, and you know the profitability of an organization. And it has to be seeded and embedded. Okay. um, a lot of time it's also because the training in itself is not very interesting. Probably they are outdated, they're not that interesting, they're not very engaging. So I think we need to see that how we can make it more interesting for them. And as I said, we can have more experiential learning, gamification. Like if you ask me, one of my training methodology whenever I go in for any training is, I first conduct an activity. Okay. Basis on the activity, and people enjoy when there's an activity. After the activity, then there's a debriefing of the activity, that okay, let's talk about what we did, what went wrong, what was right, how we could do it better. And I think, during the debriefing itself, there's a lot of learning that comes in. And then probably introduce the concept that you want them to be familiar with. And post that, an application activity, that how am I gonna use it in my daily life. Okay. So we'll also have to see that I do not keep giving them the same regular training. At times we can promote an outbound training, at times a virtual training, at times probably an experiential learning in person training, peer learning groups, so a lot of such things. And another very very important thing is about that, which I also am asked a lot of time from the L&D team, is how do we measure the ROI of the learning. Okay. So and many HR teams struggle to show tangible results from learning initiatives, specifically when we talk about behavioral training. For technical training, it's still much easier, but when we talk about behavioral training, that's always a struggle, that how do we show some tangible results. Okay. Now we can implement KPIs such as skill acquisition rates, employee performance improvements, business outcomes. There are a lot of assessments these days. There are a lot of psychometric test evaluation which can be done, the before and after thing. So whenever you approach for such training, you can speak on these lines, that how do we measure the ROI, what are the different assessments that can be done, what are the different psychometric assessments, that can be done. So basis on all of this, somewhere I think, we can measure it. But I believe that when we talk about behavioral training, one of the best ROI is when you start uh, see the change that people bring into their behavior when they start implementing the learnings that they have gone through in the training. Okay, so that is something which is very very interesting, is what I would say. Yeah. So, now I think we should kind of, I have few things here. So I have Rowena who has asked me, can you please give some live examples from your experience of organizations where a continuous learning culture has been successfully sustained? What initiatives have been taken? Okay. So, Rowena, I consider myself to be lucky that I have been training for Coca-Cola HCCB for the last almost 2.5 years now, and I must say that I'm really very impressed with the entire L&D team of Coca-Cola, and I feel that they are one who are continuously doing something or the other for the employees. Okay, so and the onus is not just on the L&D team, but I think every plant that they have. Okay, whether it's Ahmedabad, whether it's Chennai, whether it's Hyderabad, they have an L&D person there, and obviously people who support them. Okay, and they do an analysis of what is the need of the hour. Yeah, and they keep doing training programs for the employees. So if you just follow them, you'll find any number of programs which they keep doing. Hmm? So there are trainings which are happening at the plant level. Then there are trainings which are happening at the corporate level. Okay. And then there is a DEI department that does a lot of training for diversity, equality, and inclusion. Okay. Then they design training programs specifically for women employees. Okay, where they want women to be more empowered, they want them to take the career more seriously rather than just taking it up as a contribution, financial contribution to the family. How they can upscale and upgrade themselves from there on. So I have seen how beautifully they drive it. Okay, what they also do is twice in a year they have this learning month. Okay, so what is the learning month? The learning month is when that learning month is there, twice in a week, they call external, faculties, and they have this 1.5, 2 hours training programs. So those capsules on different topics, whatever they have identified that, okay, this year, or this quarter, we are going to focus on this 8, 10 topics. So, and, there is this um, program which is run through that learning month, and they have rewards and recognition for the person who's attended all the programs, maximum programs, completed the number of hours, and so and so. And that is where I see the training is not something, the training room there all is always packed, booked. Okay, they also go out, book hotels, so because they believe in it and they're consistently doing it, and it is seeded into the system. So as I said, it is not just happening at the corporate office, it is happening in every plant that they have everywhere. you know so I hope that answers your question. Then I have Mercy who is asking me, based on your experience, can you share the challenges the L&D team face when they drive to create a culture? I think I just discussed about the challenges, because as I said, a lot of time I have seen this, that training programs have been cancelled because of poor nominations. Training programs have been cancelled because suddenly something else which is more important has come up. um, I have seen L&D people creating a calendar, designing everything, setting everything, but then the employees are not very, you know, they are not cooperative, I would say. And a lot of time I've also seen people nominate themselves for training programs, but they don't turn up. And before training programs, I see these junior L&D people in a charge just calling, making random calls to people that, hey, you've nominated, where are you, we're starting the session. So I've seen a lot of such things. Okay, and that is what I said, uh, just planning and executing is not enough. We need to create a holistic training culture, a holistic learning culture, I'm sorry. And that is where, we need to time and again get into dialogues and conversations with people, and very importantly, with the senior lot. Okay, because they are the ones who are going to help you in ensuring that the training that you plan is a success. And that's only when they let the employees go, when they understand that probably 1 day 2 days of me my employee not being here is okay. I am sure that once the employee comes back, okay, he or she would be with some add-on skills. You can also ensure that how the leaders can then motivate the employees. They should also be aware what was the training program they sat, and let them give them a copy of the outline, that this is what we're gonna make them do, so that they can also question, they can also see if they can see certain changes in their behavior or not. They can also throw some questions, and that is where the employee becomes that, okay, fine, this training was just not a tick in the box, but I probably will also have to face certain questions basis on this. So you have to ensure that how do you um, embed it into the system. And that is where continuous, whatever I said, that talk to the employees, talk to the senior leaders, talk to the management team, and sit with them and design it in a way so that um, they are comfortable. Okay, like there are companies who tells me that the first week and the last week does not really works for training because the employees are very busy. So okay, fine, what is the date, what are the days that we can freeze for training? So when you have a proper dialogue, when you channel it well, I think it will definitely work better. Okay. Okay, Anuprita says, can you please talk more on what are the innovative ways of fostering a learning culture in a company, or can be? Okay, so Anuprita, I just spoke about that how you can integrate LMS platforms. How you can have AI-driven courses, within the organization. Okay, you can have some digital learning framework for your organization. Yeah. You can decide, if you want, you can get in touch with some consultancy, get some e-learning modules designed for yourself, so that you also have flexibility for the people. You can also encourage peer learning programs, within the organization. Yeah. uh, so yes, I think even if you're able to do this much, I think would be a great achievement, is what I think. Is it technical trainings or soft skills training at Coca-Cola? They do both the training. So that it's nothing like only soft skills. They have all sort of trainings. As I said, technical training, soft skills training, leadership trainings. They have DEI trainings, they have lots of trainings there. Okay, Raghavendra, thank you so much. Yes, so with that, any other questions? Any other questions from anyone? Please feel free to put it up in the chat box and I would be more than happy to answer it. Thanks, Aishwarya. Thanks a lot. So in the end, let's have an action step, because I think whenever we invest our time, we should have some takeaways, and applies very well for this workshop as well. I think I am going to share now a few practical steps, that you can start taking from today onwards. The first and foremost is assess your current learning culture. You know, do a quick review of what is your organization's current learning culture. Okay, you can conduct employee surveys on training preferences, and you can also evaluate the existing training effectiveness. Okay, so this would give you a very good insight about what is the current learning culture of your organization. Based on the feedback that you get from here on, The second step is you can design a holistic learning framework. Okay, basis on these inputs, you can see whether you want a formal training, you want an on the job training, you want a mentorship program, you want an outbound program. Okay, and then develop a content, okay, which would cover both technical and soft skills training. That okay, fine, for this financial year, these are the soft skills training that I feel is the need of the hour, and these are the technical training that I feel is the need of the hour. Okay, so that you just know how do you start planning it and how do you start getting those training done. Okay, if you have an LMS platform, great. If not, please invest in one. Okay, so that would really help you do a lot of to help you create this learning culture. Okay, and of course, yes, as I said that create a system of recognition, rewarding the employees. You can introduce badges, leaderboards, certificates for continuous learners. Okay, you can also feature the top learners in your company's newsletter or any communication forum that you have. So I think with these actionable insights, you can start taking that step. I'm sure you people are already doing it, but I think if you just understand the culture of your organization a little deeper, and then kind of design the framework of learning, it would be more impactful and effective. How Okay, Mudita has a question. Thank you, Abhinav. Thank you, Santosh. Thank you, Shara. Thanks a lot. Okay. Mudita has a question that how do we sensitize leaders to get more involved and successfully partner with LND to create a learning culture? I think it has to trickle from the top. You need to speak to the LND people. You need to see wo kiske sunte hain, whom do they listen to. Okay. And you need to have a proper plan. Okay, and as I said, when you collaborate with them and do it properly, um, it's going to be much easier. The problem is the leaders feel that training programs just come up randomly and the dates are not discussed well and things like that. Okay, but I think the first and the most important thing is asking the leaders. They also have their appraisals and things, and what are their challenges. And I'm sure that when they talk about the team not being very effective, or probably when they talk about their real-time challenges, is when you need to then start saying that okay, fine, what are your top three, top five problem statement and pain areas. Okay, and whatever they discuss, ask them, how do you think we can address this? Okay, what is your role, what have you been doing to handle this, to overcome this? And then probably say that how can we help you overcome this? Okay, as the L&D team, and as the HR department. So this is where the role that you play to help them grow and to overcome the problem and the challenges. And this is what role we can play. Can we have a handshake? Can we have a hand holding to do this? Yeah. So and then from there on, you can see it in the trainings and other things.